Thank you for joining us on Worldwide Slot Car Chat number 91. I'm your host, Greg Gab. Got a good group of people going on here. We got Mike, Tony, Luff, Leo, John, Jeremy, Neil, Frank, Dewan, Garth, Iceman, Chuck, Dennis, Bill, and John, and other people. And we're going to talk about slot cars again, like we like to, because slot cars are awesome. I'm going to start off with, guess what I got in my email the other day? Another notification from Google AdSense saying that they sent me money. So that means it's time for another contest giveaway. This will be like we usually do. So everybody, I want you to think about what kind of product. Doesn't have to be a car, but we still need to, stay around that $100, or lower that we do for cars. And what they should say in the comments in order to register that they would like to participate in that contest. So we'll come back around to that later on. So think about what kind of cars you want people to win, or whatever slot car related thing you want people to win, and how they should enter to win. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it for me. Anybody got any show and tell they want to do? Raise your virtual hand, raise your real hand, and I'll try to catch you, but virtual hands are better. John has his virtual hand up. What you got to show and tell today, John?
Well, I fixed my mistake, and I thought I'd show you guys. Yeah, I didn't get it in time. It's been kind of cold here, so the silicone's taken a little longer to cure, even in the workshop. So I just thought I'd show you here. Let me just share a photo. So there is the new mold, and believe it or not, this is all old mold. I just reported it, so it didn't really waste a heck of a lot. But as you can see, let me just zoom in. The second pour was absolutely lovely, and you can kind of see how nicely the fenders look. And so I'm hoping to do the first pour tomorrow. You've got all the louvers. There's the inside, the second pour there, the rear wing. So hopefully everything should be fine.
Looking good from here.
And here it is in the oven.
Helping to cure.
Yep, to cure. Yep. So it's all closed, and you can throw a Pop-Tart in there if you want.
I probably wouldn't want to.
And I also, while it was curing, I fooled around with a figure. So I thought anybody who has a Le Mans track would like a standing figure of Mr. McQueen.
That's awesome.
So now, I mean, full disclosure, that's a Pioneer's head that I repopped from
the Bullet
Mustang. Yeah, from the Bullet Mustang. Whoops, sorry.
Can you redo it with two fingers in the air, John?
Yeah.
I could do. Oh, that's a great idea. See, I thought of him sort of as like, where's Waldo? Where's Steve? Sort of in the paddock. But that's a great idea.
Here, alternate body with the racing suit on and the.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because of course now I'm working on the 2G for Frank and Dennis. That's going to be going on rubber this week. Which is great. And I also, if I can share one more wee thing here, a little more of progress on. If I can just find it here quickly. I had it up. Where'd it go? On the RSK that oh, here it is. On the RSK I've been working on, I actually got. Hang on, you can take a look here. Let me just share my screen. Sorry, callers. One moment, caller. Come on. There we go. Share screen here. I actually got the headlight buckets done. So this car will have the option of having headlights or not. And of course, you need covers. So I created some clear covers for them as well. It actually came out quite nicely.
Nice.
And there are the clear covers. Now the great thing is I can cast this in clear and in just plain resin, so you could have because a lot of RSKs were raced with sort of aluminum covers as well as clear lights, so it'll have the option. So that's coming along quite nicely too, considering that was a storm vector. Oh, thank you. And
so
that's just it for me. Sorry.
To help with my understanding of resin casting, am I wrong to think that when you cast in clear resin, that it pulls clear like glass?
Yeah.
Okay, that was my understanding 3D printed resin, not so lucky with that. After it gets fully cured, it's usually cloudy and gross. And then filament resin, you're barking up the wrong tree to try to get a glass-like structure out of a filament printer.
One of the things you might want to try with 3D printing, I don't know if this might work, because it worked with resin sometimes if it gets a wee bit cloudy or there are air bubbles. I actually dip it in Future Clear and let it cure.
Yeah, I mean, there's post-processing that can be done, but I hate all kinds of post-processing. So if I was trying to replicate something, and if I was trying to make my own glass products for something, cast resin would be the way to go for me. Just want to make sure that it wasn't subject to that same post-processing that printed resin, 3D printed resin or filament printing, clear filament has, which is a lot of work.
And just a note for Kelly, since Kelly's here. Hey, Kelly, our daughter's really close to getting Kelly's head done, because I know I owe him a GTO, which is on my bench. Didn't forget about it. I know it's coming, but yeah, she's almost got your head done. So hopefully I can show that next week.
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to seeing miniature Kelly.
Yeah, man, she's the one with talent, so it should look good.
So it's taking her this long because my head is so big. I get it. I understand.
No.
But I appreciate it.
Because Dad wouldn't get out of the way at the workbench. That's what it boiled down
to.
All right. Thanks, John. Does anybody have any questions for John or any updates on?
I have a comment.
Go ahead, John.
So Fly just came out with the 20 Porsche, Gulf Porsche from the Le Mans movie, I believe, and it has Steve McQueen figure standing next to it. So and it's $149. So I think you're going to have I think people would make their own, if you can make your own figure, I'll take two.
Well, yeah, the figure will not be $149. I can guarantee.
No, well, the whole car, it's a presentation box, of course. But no, I love figures. You know that. I love figures.
Oh, yeah. Well, did they have Steve's head, or is it just like the figure with a
golf uniform? And yeah, that's Steve's head. Yeah, it came out good.
I just saw that today.
It's nice, right? It caught my eye.
They have him in a prone position too, lying on the side. I think at least the picture did.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's standing. Oh, it depends on how you do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of recent news, and I'm probably not thinking of the correct car that you're working on for Dennis and Frank, but Slotted recently had a news piece about.
2F.
A different car or same car?
Different car.
Okay, thought so.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so many Chaparrals, I can never keep them.
Well, what's interesting though, a lot of the chassis, Jim Hall just basically would,
Right.
wouldn't even remanufacture. He would sort of just basically make changes to it. Like the 2G was basically a 2E. So.
And one of the 2Es was originally the 2C.
Right. Yeah, he was very pragmatic.
Yeah, that's right. The 2C became one of the 2Es, or the 2F, one of the two. But I know that the 2Es, one had a glass fiber chassis, one had an aluminum chassis.
Right.
See why I can't keep track?
Oh, it's easy. There's an A, there's a C, there's a D, there's an E, there's an F, there's a G, there's an H and a J. No B and no I.
You got to be a Chaparral lover.
Oh, and a K. Yes, but K was yellow. That doesn't count.
And
that's true.
And you guys completely visual. You guys know exactly. If somebody says A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever you're talking about, you know what it looks like in your head because you've been following those cars forever. To me, a chappie's a chappie. I honestly don't.
And for those of us that are very pedantic about it, it's a source of constant frustration that people call a 2C. They call what actually was just a 2 or a 2A. They call it a 2C because they don't know any different.
Dennis, I actually saw a picture of a 124th true 2C. It had the flapping rear wing and everything.
Yeah.
It looked great.
Yeah, there are a couple of 124th or 125th hardbody kits available from Imai or one of those Japanese or LS or somebody like that, but they come up on eBay every now and then, and they're horribly expensive. Always,
Yep.
like between $75 and $100 for for a plastic kit, for Pete's sake, that I'm going to turn into a slot car. Oh, I haven't done that. What I'm thinking about doing is to take the 2D, the monogram 2D version, which was the
Right.
Sebring version. I cut the roof off it and turn it into a 2C. Turn it back into a 2C.
Right.
Whoa.
Because that had the Sebring version had the fins and the wing.
Right. Right. The other really cool thing is that Jim Hall was really into modeling. I mean, he made models, he flew model airplanes. He, of course, was really happy with the Cox deal that he got. So yeah, very apropos to do one of his cars again.
Yeah, the 2F is actually quite a good choice because there are quite a lot of versions. Because every time that car raced, pretty much, it looked different. And it had different numbers on it. So, you know, they can do the one that they're doing now, the Daytona version, and then the BOAC version and the Le Mans version and the Nürburgring version. They're all a little, and the Targa Florio version, of course, they're all a little different.
Good stuff. Does anybody else have any show and tell they want to show and or tell? Any new things, new projects, new purchases? Anything? If not, we'll move straight on to Mike.
Something.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Okay. So if I do this right, hopefully. Are you guys seeing that?
Yep, we see
nice.
Ghostbusters and a police car, and
Yeah. So that's where we left off last week. Or last time I was here 2 weeks ago. I showed you guys the Adam 12 and the Batmobile and the Munsters on the left, but I didn't show the stuff on the right. And I showed you some of the hot rod stuff, not a lot of details. Today I'm going to show the Monkeys Mobile and the hot dune buggies.
And a lot of the younger folks will ask, what are the monkeys?
what younger folks? Yeah,
there are no younger folks.
There's nobody watching this show or being here right now that doesn't know what the monkeys are.
Yeah.
You sure?
They're probably not old enough to know.
Two people.
Well, they're probably not even old enough to know who Milli Vanilli were. So that's a
good
We
point.
can't sing. We can't sing.
I'm making a Milli Vanilli car since you said I am going to make one now.
Oh, well, yeah, but you can, John. You just have to make it out of clear plastic.
There you go.
All right, carry on, John.
Okay, this is dune buggies. They're both made from model kits. One is the Airfix kit, which I paid a fortune for, but now they're reissuing it, so my timing was bad. And the other one is the reissue of the Revell kit. I'll show at the end the kits. Maybe I should show that first. Just some more pictures of it. The Airfix kit comes with really nice figures. You can see. To me, it looks like Bonnie and Cher, Sonny and Cher, because she's so much bigger than the guy. And then in the other car, we'll use one of those wrestling heads, and it looks pretty cool. And nice parts. Here you can see underneath, I used a slotted sidewinder pod, and I then slipped in a long, what do they call that? Like a slot classic chassis. There's like two parts to it, the front part, and that helped me with the axle and the guide. And then there's suspension front and back. And it all fit. It was when I first got the Revell mod, I was like, this isn't going to work. It's too frail and it's too small, but I was able to get it. And the tires are really cool. They're from Mitos. Remember I was saying about Pendle Slot. They have this line of tires from Mitos, and they're really diverse. Like this paddle tires are really cool. Yeah, you can see the gear in the back of this. Like, so I'm a little... Like I like try and line up the gold gear with the orange car and stuff. That's not by accident. And you can see the suspension in the back. His suspension in the front is Ninko shocks from their raid trucks and their, and then everything comes apart like I've shown before with magnets and stuff. So you can swap out the seats, the drivers, the motors, even the back panels and stuff. So that's something I like to do, like, little amount of glue as possible, more flexibility.
You're gonna
here are the
paint
two
those-
kits.
You're gonna paint that guy's legs? Looks like he's naked.
He's got shorts on. You've got like tan shorts. It's hard to see. Yeah, I'm
Allegedly.
not at the stage yet of I'm flat painting, obviously, right? So you could hit it with some wash and stuff. I haven't gotten to that courageous stage yet, so I'm happy with flat paint. I almost like their toys and stuff. So
I'm just giving you a hard time. Like it looks great. This
yeah,
is
no problem.
Great work.
That's fantastic.
So this
I love
beach
it.
buggy model is the vintage one. I bought 2 of them in Australia. It was $160. So
Holy
You know,
moly.
yeah, you don't want to ruin that model. You know how I talk about like ruining the paint and stuff, but this paint went on really good. This is the 2 paints I used, Tamaya metallic green and metallic orange, and they went on really, really, really nice. So sometimes like I've had a lot of problems painting with yellow, and I'm still in the stage of rattle cans too. So I don't know, it's working. This is the base. So I talk about magnets. You can see the magnets, these long, I try and buy different sizes, and actually these long magnets you see sticking up, those are actually used to keep the suspension in too. So you have a lot of solutions and stuff. So I buy some supplies off eBay. Spider magnets, I think, is a shop. All right, here's the Monkeys Mobile, 124 scale. So, you know what I didn't show here is, remember last time I showed you how I cut down the Munsters coach. This one I have almost cut down, but I gave up. It was just too much. Like I was almost done with the car, the body, and then I didn't do the roof yet, and I didn't do the windshield part. So I just said, you know what? Some cars I'm going to have to do in 124. And then at that point, I made 4 cars. This one, the Ghostbusters, the Scooby-Doo van, and a Batmobile just for the heck of it. And I have those 4 I made in, because I couldn't find anything for the Scooby-Doo, which I wanted to make, and I couldn't find anything for the Ghostbusters. That would be real hard. So you can see it here. So this one I sort of didn't paint, right? I talked about that. Sort of like I learned that there's 2 kits. One was molded in red and one was molded in white. So I got them both, and I was able to do this. I thought it was pretty cool. And it's sort of like the toys they made, back in the day. So I have no problem with that. So the roof comes off. Everything is modular, of course, once again. And you can see the guys here. And these are tractor figures. I'll show that at the end too, what I use. So it's all about the figures for me. And I'm lucky to buy these 124 scale figures, and they weren't too big. Like a normal 124 scale figure would be bigger. These are less, like 128 maybe. And they worked out really well. They're tractor figures. And
Should have
so you-
one 132nd scale one in there for Davy Jones.
say it again.
He's a little tiny guy.
Davy Jones was a tiny little guy.
I know. I'm not that sophisticated. So here's just a back view. Once again, I use the slotted HRS2 chassis, and you can see right in the middle there, I think it's two sheets of 80 millimeter black styrene I use, and it just goes together. I put them together to make one. I think it's 160 millimeter, and then I glue it in, and it's very solid. I don't know why and it's not even as sophisticated. It's just very well done. I mean, not very well done, but holds up very well. And I mean, I'm not racing these hards, obviously. A sidewinder boxer, because I was using the flat I didn't have a lot of clearance, and I wanted the full interior. And you see those guide. I have things I like. I like these Ninco with the little clips that you slide on to the end of the motor. So I just think that's cool. So I try and use that. These parts are hard to get, though. The parts are hard to get. Here's the look at the bottom. You can see all magnets used. The motor's held in by a magnet. A lot of magnets. So here they come apart. All the drivers, all the passengers and driver are magnetic. They can go to any seat. The seats go in magnetically. A lot of stuff is press fit in. The motor goes in magnetically, and then the roof goes in. I forgot to take out that back seat, but you remove that, and there's two little conduits for the post on the top.
Okay, we're gonna need a slow motion video of that thing hitting a wall.
No.
Because I want to see the little birds pop out of their seats.
I would do one of it maybe hitting into a rubber tire barrier.
I mean, something's it's got to stop suddenly enough for the people to demagnetize and go flying.
Yeah, I think they would stay in there. I need to take out the magnets. So I have to take them out of their butts.
There you go. That'll work.
I talked about parts. So these parts, are really significant for the 124 scale models because they're oversized parts. Those are 70 millimeter axles from Slotting Plus, and they happen to be long enough for all the projects I did. And those are 18 millimeter wheels, which have been able to accept the inserts perfectly, once I grind down the real wheel. And then I have different choices, once again, Mitos. And on this car, I used the first one, MO12, and it's got like a nice tread on it. It's like a beach tire, and then you have donuts, and then you have these real big ones. Like these big ones here I used for my, well, I'll tell you later when I saw that maybe. Here's the kit. So one was molded in red. I think the Blueprinter kit was molded in red and the newer kit was in white. And then those are the figures. I got them in Europe. I can't get them anymore. I have 2 left. This is a little project I did, a brass chassis, a fly car. So I just made a brass chassis out of plate. I use racer wheels. You can say I race it. It's pretty worn up. Wouldn't race that. No one would have a class for that, but run it. Here, so I always try and keep the other chassis intact so I can convert it back. Oh, and I painted the wheels on that. They don't normally come in the colors on the fly one. And then this is what it looks like. So it's basically a slotted front end from the HRS2, and they always give you 2, like depending on there's 2 different widths on their front end. So you always have extra ones. And then the fly motor pod, the Sidewinder motor pod, which are hard to get now, but basically they are attached underneath. You'll see here with screws. So I tapped the brass and it was thick enough to accept the threads, and that's the way it came together. And I thought it was pretty cool hybrid type of thing.
And that motor's in the right place.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got the motor in the right place, where a Porsche would have its motor. That's right on. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the way the car. Wait, what is that car? Let me see. I think it's that way anyway in the fly car. I think it is because the interior wouldn't fit. I'm pretty sure it was a Sidewinder anyway.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was. I don't know even where I even came up for that. Why I did it? It's weird, but I don't work a lot in brass.
Glide tried to be more authentic with their motor placement than some other manufacturer.
Okay, yeah, they had the front end panels and the front end Corvette. Exactly. Yeah, that's a shame how they're so devalued now. Like especially the Corvettes, they're really nice cars. So this is the Red Baron. I guess next time I got to show the model kit first because that's what I saw. So it's a model kit that they came out with a repop of Tom Daniels, and it's called the Little Red Baron, and basically it's like stylized. So the wheels are all like oval and stuff. So I had to make sure I took that out of it. And you can see here, Mick, can you go upstairs? My wife's on the phone. Another picture of that.
Oh, are those Carrera hot rod wheels and tires?
Yes, they are. So they're spinners.
But yeah, they're streetcar wheels.
Yeah, they're spinners, and they sort of look like that old German. What do they call that? That cross, Iron Cross, right? So I had to make the decals. It didn't come with decals, so I made the decals you see on the side. It shows like the car count. There's 6 cars and the little Red Baron. I used chrome paint. I don't know if you guys ever tried chrome paint. It went on beautifully, but basically you couldn't really touch it. Like if you touched it, and I used a couple of different ones. So basically I put this together. I says, I'm just going to paint it one more time. I kept repainting it. And then I put it in carefully. And then the helmet, I says, the helmet's got to be touched. So that's like a silver with a gloss. And then this one I did paint. This is painted red too. So that's rare for me. And it's got, that looks like Mitos tires. And they're good rubber tires, by the way, they're Mitos. So look at that driver figure. It's another wrestling guy. He looks perfect. He looks like that. The hands are in the right place and stuff. So like I said, it's always important for the driver figure. Here's a good front shot. So I, fabricated some of this front end you could see. I think it's got, it looks like a scale auto, one of those. I like to use a big guide if I can. So you can see this comes off, just pulls off. It's sort of, there's a little pin in the back that holds it in. And you can see that guy, he's pretty cool looking for that kind of car, So his body is obviously not the right. That's a fly rally driver, which are great figures, but it's his head is too big, but it works, And here's underneath. So I've talked about this before. Ninco motor's hard to get. I'm using HO now, But the Ninco go-kart motor, I'd rather get if I can, and the nice big guide, and then the nice big slotted. And you see that rear end, well, those are slotting plus Victor bearings. So inside there's like a brass, what do you call it, spherical bearing. So it's really nice if I don't have it perfect. And that whole piece just slides in that little groove there. And that groove was part of the car. So it worked out, you know. And there's the model kit. So you can buy that now. I bought it about a year. I think it's so you can see how the tires were all weird, and see how the back was ramped up, and I sort of flattened that out and stuff. I have a couple of things. Should we let someone else go or save it for later?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably go for the whole 2 hours and then some.
I will save it for next time.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a break, and
Okay.
I'm sure we can come
Let
back.
me see. I don't even know what was next. Okay, never mind.
Oh, okay.
You know
Well, you
what's-
got to show Speed Racer. Dewan's here. You got to.
It's only like 4 frames.
Yeah, go ahead and do the Speed Racer, and then we'll stop you.
So this is just a 908 Porsche, and I was gonna make these and sell them on eBay. I made one, and I sold it. Only sold for like $72. I'm like, it's not worth it because the fly car was like 45, and it's all high end parts, you know. But
Yeah.
it has the right wheels with the holes in it and stuff. I made the fly, you know, the card and everything. And, you know, I had to do a little work with the X-Acto on his arms, get the sleeve, you know, the wrinkles from the thing. And I painted him up pretty cool. And my last name is M, so it's pretty cool. And these are the parts. So you can see the parts would have cost me a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And then this was like a little thing I put out like to tease people, but it never happened. And that's it for today.
Well, that person got a deal on that car.
Yeah.
The starting price much higher than that $72.
Yeah, you should have put a reserve or something on that.
Yeah, that's okay though. I didn't mind. It was, you know, sometimes here's the thing, like the stuff I do takes a lot of time, and it would be hard to recoup the money and stuff. So, and a lot of people don't want to pay the kind of money it would cost, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be able to charge like all of your actual
Right.
expenditures.
And then
your time
it's hard to get the model kits and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't sell them. I just keep them, which is good.
Well,
All right,
fantastic
thanks,
stuff as always, John. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing. And
Thank you.
again, we'll probably come back to you
I have more if you want.
anytime tonight, and probably next time. And
Well, here's
next
what's
time-
I'm on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm creating stuff. The monkeys was exclusive tonight though.
Yeah, if
So
you
you
want
got that first.
if you want to go ahead and put your Instagram link,
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
put it in the chat
And the
your-
Discord. Let's do the
and the
Discord.
Discord.
too.
Yeah, go ahead and put those in the chat. I'll put them in the description.
So I'm creating content. I'm trying to do something every day, so I'll have plenty of content for you.
You are
guys.
very active, sir, and so people
Yes,
will have
thank you.
lots of things to see. So,
All
so
right, cool. Thanks for the appreciation. I appreciate it.
all right, thanks, John. Does anybody else have anything they want to show and tell, or should we move on to Club Corner? Seeing none and hearing none, we're going to go ahead and move on to Club Corner. Just for the fun of it, I don't know if you guys saw the video that I uploaded yesterday of the evil IROC race and then the Thunder Slot race. So the evil IROC, if you haven't already seen it, was the host IROC is the host provides the cars and everybody races those cars and we rotate through the cars. Cars stay in their lane. And it's a bad habit of a lot of the racers to simply pull the trigger and assume that they are looking at the correct car. And I have been known to say, your car is the one that does not go
I
when
resemble
you
that
don't
remark.
pull the trigger. We all do, right? Multiple members have experienced multiple heats of the same IROC race looking at the wrong car all 4 times. And so I will say, people will be like, which one's mine? Which one's mine? I think that's mine. I know which car I'm driving, blah, blah, blah. And then they crash on the first turn because they're looking at the wrong car. So almost every race night, I'll say, your car is the one that does not go when you don't pull the trigger. Figure it out. So the host decided to field 4 identical cars. Identical in every way. Same car, same livery. The only difference was that he went ahead and was kind enough to put numbered lane stickers on the nose of these Scalextric modern F1 cars. One of you experts will probably know exactly which car it was from having seen the pictures or video or whatever, but it's a blue and yellow modern F1. I don't remember the exact car. but all 4 lanes, same car. I did not tell them my advice this time because they should freaking know by now. And if you watch that video, you will see that pretty much none of them paid attention to that long-standing piece of advice. And by the end of the first minute, because we race crash and burn, all 4 cars were crashed in the same turn. So halfway through the race, before we started the second minute, I went over and in the video you just see me walking over and looking at them, but I took a picture of that for posterity purposes. But they're just like, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, all nose to tail in the same turn. 2 of them came off right away. And then the second minute, those same 2 people came off after the S's on the infield before they got a lap. So for the full 2 minutes. And they were looking at the wrong car the second time around too. And Iceman, Mr. McKenzie there, saw the video and he knew exactly who's the one who crashed and made his little comment there. And I'm going to tell Vic, I'm going to tell him what you said. I'm sure he'll get a kick out of that. But yeah, it was hilarious. And in the video, you see me shaking Roger's hand. It was evil. I loved it to bits. And to be perfectly honest and fair, when I had my first heat of these cars, I had to stop pulling my trigger 2 or 3 times before I was confident that I knew which car to look at while I was driving it around. Before I even came around to the first crossing the lap counter, I'm like, I think that's my car. Wait, no, yeah, I think that, wait, yeah, nope, okay, yeah, that's my car for sure. Okay, and then I was driving the car.
But when you run the IROC, do you not start every heat at the start line?
Well, on this particular track, we start about a third of the lap before the start line.
But everybody's lined up, right?
Everybody's lined up, and we know which lane is which.
And so you know which lane you're driving. And
yeah. There's literally no reason for you to not know which car you're driving, other than assuming you know which car you're driving and being wrong.
Yeah. What was that George Carlin thing about never underestimating the power of stupid people in large numbers?
I loved it to bits, and it was a whole lot of fun. And of course, a few heats into the whole IROC race, they started being a little bit more cautious about making sure they knew which car they were. But it's like, come on. I mean, how many times do you have to say, figure out which car you're driving? Don't be so sure about it.
Oh, Greg, it was. Oh, I'm sorry. It was so funny. It was so funny, Greg, because that was over 15 years ago that Victor used to do that. It's like, you're still doing that, Victor. Good grief. It was so much fun to watch. Just brought back great memories. So yeah.
Every stinking week every time he's there during an IROC race, and Pat and Roger and pretty much all the same guys who did it before. So yeah, 15 years haven't changed anything.
I know. Oh.
And yeah, thanks Bill, to Chuck, and whoever's wondering what I'm talking about. Just look on my channel, for the previous video or 2, and you'll see this video that I'm talking about. After the fun that was IROC with Scalextric F1's car. By the way, these were magnet cars, which we rarely race to begin with, and with stock tires. So if you come out of a turn too soon, put the power on too soon, it's going to break loose and you're off. If you break loose and the car does not come off, that was a gift from God, and you had better not give it up on the next few turns. And that happened maybe once the entire IROC race. They were challenging cars to drive. But then we ran Thunderslot cars, and at the beginning of the Thunderslot races, I'm like, don't forget to check your controllers because you do not run magnet Scalextric F1 cars with the same settings on your controller as you're going to run Thunderslot non-mag cars with good tires. There were a few people adjusting their controllers during the first heat of the Thunderslot.
It was really helpful though. That was something I never would have considered, and I mean, I'm getting started going out and buying these cars. So it is useful to know, because it's like, well, yeah, I want to have a competitive, comparable experience. So maybe I should get 2 of the same car. Now I know there should be some difference in terms of painting, but still, four, I would have thought that would have come up at some point, but I guess not. But
Every
one way or the
once in a
other, I learned it yesterday, watching that video. So
every once in a while we'll have a series race where there's not a whole lot of cars available, and so you'll have multiple guys with the same livery of car, and they'll usually like put a sticker on it or something to help them identify their car. But for us oldies, it doesn't even matter. We're across the table from these cars, and if there's 4 yellow cars, even if they're different models with different liveries, if their overall color scheme is yellow, it'll be similar to that IROC race. It'll be like, which one's mine? Okay, that one. Yeah, I think I see a blob of some other color than yellow that indicates that it's my car.
Do they have trained animals that can assist people with this thing?
I stopped being that trained animal the other night. I've been trying, but as John has pointed out, it's pointless. 15 years have not made them any more likely to pay attention to which car is moving when they pull the trigger. They just pull the trigger and hope it's the right one.
I can assure you, Greg, it happens to us when we race that Disco Le Mans 24-hour, and it's darkness, and all you've got are the headlights.
Oh yeah.
And there are several cars on one lane, 16 cars on the lap. Typically, it can happen. You can drive a half a lap and then notice that if you let go of the trigger, the car continues, and you've just not been looking at your own.
Yeah, and there it is off in the corner back there.
I think we've just discovered another difference between what we do and what Jay Leno does.
Well, Wayne, aren't the rules of the 24-hour oxygen wands to allow additional lights, so like side lights and things like that, to help you identify your car?
You're actually allowed a cockpit illuminator that for identification, but what people do tend to do is put something somewhere, usually an interior light, like I say. But there's one particular competitor that keeps building in a flashing amber light in his exhaust tailpipe, so that every time you lift off the power, you see backfires. That's particularly useful.
Yeah,
it's additional work and extra bits to go wrong, but that's useful. That, and there are different coloured lights on different classes of cars. So if you're running a GT3 car, you'll run yellow headlights, whereas LMP1 and LMP2 can run white, must run white, and must run yellow in the GT. But no, it still happens. It really does.
Yep, for sure. Well, we had a blast, obviously, and that's pretty much the end of my club report. Does anybody have any club shenanigans, past, present, or future, that they want to share with the world? I guess it was just me having fun today, this week so far. So I guess we'll pretty much open the floor. Oh, Neil, what you got?
I just want to make a comment. I saw that video and I was laughing hysterical that they came off the exact same curve and they ended up in line. I don't know how that could possibly happen.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, you heard me laughing. Everybody was laughing. It was so ridiculous. I mean, there's been ridiculous crashes, but the fact that, two right off the bat, and then one later, and then one again later, and it's all the same turn.
All lined up.
All lined up in a nice little line. I had actually paused the video recording while they put the cars back on, because half of them were so far away that they couldn't reach them. So one of the guys started climbing up on the table. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna video him climbing around on the table.
It was great.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So Neil, before I forget, because it's on my mind at the moment, people from New Jersey are popping up all over the place. I mean, there was a couple of posts on Slot Forum by a couple of the new people, with like digital racing, and on the Digital Slot Car Public Facebook group, there was a guy saying anybody in New Jersey, the Philly area, wanting to race Carrera Digital. So they're out there. If you're not on the Digital Slot Car Public Facebook group, get on it.
I've been talking with John
Uh-huh.
from Jersey, and hopefully we're going to get together, and he's going to help me with a project of mine. So
Good deal. They're out there. We're trying to help, man. We're bringing the world of slot car local people together around the world. Let's do it. All right, and Mike has his virtual hand up, and then we'll get to Dennis. You're already good to go.
No, I was already unmuted. Yeah, we had quite a good race session on Monday with the guys. Perfect result. Everybody got a first, a second, and a third, and we had 3 races, and we're all magless races. Just in case Chris is listening, so he can realize that I can't do it. Yeah, it was great fun, but it was really frustrating trying to find the right tune for changing conditions. You have to really sort of go in the middle of the sweet spot and then adjust accordingly at the particular temperature time. It's made a huge difference. Being out in the garage, a lot of times I'll turn the heat on, a couple hours before, but it doesn't reach optimum temperature until later. And it made a huge difference in traction on 2 of the cars in particular, which happened to be the sideways ones. And the Porsche 997 NSR that I had just cruised right through it. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, it was a good time. Everybody was satisfied with it, enjoying it. But I need a lot of work on playing with weight and stuff to get it into the spot so I can adjust it more easily.
What's your temperature out there outside?
Oh, outside is going to be like 20, 25 at the most. And
I have Dennis.
Pardon me?
I was telling Dennis, we're spoiled here in California.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was probably not quite 25 Celsius today here.
For everybody else who's watching, that's warm. That's kind of on the warm side.
Yes.
Well, we have to rub it in.
Yeah,
it hit -18 last night here in Iowa. So
oh
it was
my
awesome.
God.
It's not as cold where I am as where Mike is, and certainly not where Jeremy is.
Well, I think John probably gets it the worst. You're in Canada.
Yeah, I was gonna say you really want to like go down the road.
No. I'm just saying.
Really?
But for first world nations, we're pretty cold. That's all I'm saying.
No, I ran in like -16 and I thought it was warm, but that's Celsius,
Yeah.
But
what I was going to say was that, even on my relatively temperate, climate area, when I had the guys coming over to race at my track in my garage, I'd have the kerosene heater on for hours ahead of time just to make sure not only that it was comfortable in the garage to be in there, but that the track got warm, because it made such a huge difference.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I know Mike's got his garage heated. I was there when it was, freaking cold outside. So
even on a wood track, it makes a lot of difference.
It makes a difference on everything. Yeah. So turn the heat up a little bit more ahead of time, and maybe you'll have better.
Get a resistive element underneath your track surface and power it with your
underfloor heating.
Not under sport track, no.
Hey, what about just tiny tire blankets? Do you guys allow that?
There you go.
Yeah, but it doesn't help if it's in the middle of the race. But I thought it was really interesting that it was both of the sideways cars that are normally the fastest ones of that GT group that I use. I've got a sideways Ford GTE, a Lamborghini Huracan, and a Porsche 997 NSR. But the sideways ones were the ones that were lifting out of the slot on what I have as a carousel, the large turn at the end there. And they would just, even with the slightest pressure, they'd pop right off, and only in that corner. It was like weird. So, but I'll figure it out.
Well, good to hear you guys are still having lots of fun, and I'm sure we'll hear more about more fun in the future. Dennis, what do you got for us today?
While we're talking about Club Corner or racing, I guess, this weekend just passed was the annual Checkpoint Cup, they call it, which is a retro 124 scale retro race that's held down here in Southern California. It started last Friday with 3 classes Friday, and then Formula One's coupes and an angle winder class. And then the Saturday was retro Can-Am. Sunday was retro Formula One. I've got a little bit of video that I hope will work.
Be sure and put the video link in the chat so I can put it in the description.
Oh, I've pulled this off of Facebook, so
oh, that'll work.
This is the flat track, and this I think was. You see, this is the problem with 1/24 scales. In a video like this, you can't even see what kind of cars those were. But yeah, those were the retro coupes. So it's a GT car with a scratch-built brass chassis and angle winder drive, and that's the flat track that we run on.
Dennis, how long is that track?
Ooh,
95.
That track is about. Oh, sorry, I screwed that up. But that's enough of that.
It's got to be more than 95 feet.
It's about 159 feet, I think.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Oh yeah, okay. We're talking flat track. How many seconds were you guys running?
Those cars run in the low 7s, high 6s.
Unbelievable.
Well,
might as well be doing HO.
That's no, not really.
Oh, be nice now. There's
fast.
There's fast and slow in all scales.
Well, I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd rather run a Ninco with an NC1 motor any day. Sorry.
Exactly. So when you talk about so when you think about HO, you need to go to the fray and see the cars they're driving at the fray or something.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't be able to see them. They're too fast.
No, anyway, cars are non-mag.
We had a good time. We had guys there from a bunch of guys came down from Eastern Washington. There were 3 of those. There were a couple of guys from Northern California came down. There were 3 or 4 guys came from Arizona. 1 guy came in from Massachusetts. So yeah, we had about 30 drivers, I suppose. It was a good weekend. The racer came in from Texas. And so yeah, it was good.
Looked like a fun time.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, go ahead and even though it's Facebook, go ahead and put a link in there.
Okay.
We'll make sure people can, if they want to go look, they can go look.
Yeah, it was one of Eddie Shorer's things. I'll put it in.
Yeah, I was watching part of that live. It was pretty nice.
Just kind of a PSA for the viewers in general. If when you hear 1/24th cars or commercial slot car racing or digital or HO, and you immediately think, well, it's that kind of racing, you're wrong. I'm just going to tell you right now, you're wrong. Because just like in 132, there's magnet and non-magnet, digital and analog. In HO, there's the super fast, crazy stuck down Mega G traction cars, and then there's the freight cars, and then there's T-Jets. And in 1/24th, you've got, the things that are running Blue Kings in 1.2 seconds, and then you've got the Group 12s that are doing the same track in 6 or 7 seconds, and then you got Womps, and then you got hard body 1/24th like BRM and Scale Auto and any kind of racing you want.
And a lot of scratch built hard body stuff too.
Yeah, I'm not even getting into scratch build. If there's a scale you want to partake in, there is a kind of partaking in that scale that you'll enjoy. Or vice versa. If you're like, well, I want to race non-magnet, scratch build, whatever you want to race, you can probably do it in any scale. So, just saying.
That's right.
Frank.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I was the same way. I was the
Frank's
same way.
actually just stirring because Frank drives those stamped steel LMP chassis. And he hasn't done it for a while, but he's done that too. So he comes from the dark side just as much as I do.
He races all kinds of things. He's down at Big Marv's doing high magnet downforce cars, and he's down at Far Out doing non-magnet and all that kind of stuff. I know you, Frank. I know you. I see you. Stirring the turd.
Just love to play. Love to play.
All right. Before we move on to just opening the floor or more awesome things from John M., let us discuss what you gonna win. So, did anybody think about what kind of slot car related product or car they want the next winner to win? Dewan, I saw your finger raised.
Yes, MR slot car Jaguar. Seems to be one of the
MR
hottest
slot
sellers.
car Jaguar. Am I gonna find that if I go to a store? Oh, the new one. Yeah. I'm sorry.
The new one just came out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be super hot.
Can't go wrong with Mr. Slot Car. Anybody else? John Kit, saw your finger up.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that new Chaparral 2F.
Oh, the new slot it?
Oh, that's Q4 of 2022. That's been a long time yet.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
going to be a
sorry.
while.
Yeah, that was a news blurb, not
Good
a
idea, though, John.
maybe for the next one. Anybody else? Frank? Dennis?
Are the tire razors made anymore, Greg?
No.
I was going to suggest a tire razor with your reciprocating machine, but if they're not made,
I'd love to offer a tire razor. That would be a little above the kind of price range I'm talking about.
I know.
But that would be a super awesome thing to do. Garth, I saw you wave your hand.
How about the new, not yet, but in a month, Ferrari 512M, slot.it.
Ferrari 512M, okay.
What happened to the guy with the tire razor machine?
What now?
What happened with the tire razor guy?
Oh,
He's been ill.
he was basically a shop, a garage, guy.
Right.
And he had the parts manufactured by a local CNC place. And so when he thought he had enough people wanting them to buy, he would put in an order for the parts and then he would build them and then ship them himself. And so I think he maybe did that 1 or 2 or 3 times, and sales died off that, he hasn't placed an order because that's expensive, right? Obviously. Right. And then more recently, he got the COVID and has not been feeling well and just doesn't have the energy. The last I saw, there was some stuff on one of the forums where somebody gave somebody who was looking for a tire razor John's contact information, and that person contacted John, and apparently John had enough parts on hand to go ahead and cobble one together for the guy. But I'm not going to send people to John saying, hey, he'll build you a tire razor, because there's no telling how many he's got left. So right. I've also seen chatter on various forums that some slot car retailer, I don't know which, was talking to whoever is responsible or has rights to, or whatever the case may be, the design for the Area 3, aka Professor Motor style tire razor type tire chewing machine, and that they were planning on putting in an order for a bunch of those and then selling them through their shop. But all I've seen is, a birdie told me, and I don't know what shop it is. I haven't seen any press releases or anything like that. I'm hoping that is a true thing, and that soon we'll see a press release saying blah 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 slot car shop is now selling the Area 3 type machine. But nothing solid. Dennis, did you have an idea for a giveaway winner prize thing? You're muted. You're muted. Dennis, you're muted.
Obviously, obviously the spacebar doesn't work unless.
Not all the time.
Well, it works, but not if the Zoom screen isn't your main screen.
That's true.
No, I would support Dewan's idea.
Good idea.
The MR slot car Jaguar XK 220. It's really nice.
Okay, and Jeremy, did you have a suggestion, or you're holding up for something else?
Yeah, I don't know if this is even possible, but John M said he sold some of his stuff earlier. What if you could somehow tie that into getting like one of his creations?
That'd be cool. John, do you got any creations that you're ready to let go of or create new?
I don't have any, like that car, right? I showed you the Speed Racer. I bought 10 of those. So it was right, like, but I since sold them like just as the white car on, but I think I might have one left, but nothing like, but I did have a suggestion, but is that Jeremy?
Yeah.
Thank you for suggesting that. But, maybe one day we could do something just for us guys where, like I said, some of them were easy and some were hard, but a couple of them were easy, but I don't have any extra kits to make anything.
Sure. What was your suggestion?
I had two because it's like sort of what, no, not to be selfish, but what I was looking to get, and I haven't bought stuff in a long time, right? But I'm going to start buying again, is an NSR F1. I wanted to try the new F1s.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the second thing is a magnetic racing kit. They look really good.
Oh, like one of the wood kits?
Yeah. When they get painted up, they're really nice. So,
Yeah.
but you know, it's hard. You have so many opinions. I didn't even want to give an opinion, but I think the fact that Dennis second the Mr. Slot car, that might be the way to go.
Well, we have some great suggestions. In fact, I really like the magnetic racing building suggestions.
Yeah, they're nice.
They're great products, and a lot of people, you know, don't spend a whole lot on landscaping things. And the nice thing about magnetic racing buildings is that you can just build them, and you don't even have to paint them. They look great.
I think they're made too, so when you paint them, they're easy to paint.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
think like the Heineken, like one I seen, like the letters are separate, so you don't have to detail it, you know. And then they follow everybody on Instagram, so they're very nice like that. And they have a contest going on right now.
Yep.
So
maybe we'll hold the magnetic racing building on for the next giveaway, because they're having a giveaway right now. So if you're interested in magnetic racing, go to the magnetic racing Facebook page and
you have to, like, there's a little thing you have to like something and then tell them.
I mean, it's a Facebook giveaway kind of thing. So you got to follow the page and like the comment and all that stuff.
The Dunlop Tower is amazing because that's a hard one to get, the scale like that. And it's even nicer. And I don't know if you saw the one Tim has on his track. Yeah, and there's 3D printed versions so well with the lights.
Yeah,
and they're really nice.
And there's 3D printed versions of the Dunlop bridge and various things as well. I mean, there's lots of options out there for people. I do think it's a great suggestion, so thank you for that. And of course, the other suggestion which I wrote down as well. So let us think about these. We're not going to decide right now because we still need to decide how they're going to enter. So currently, the suggestions I'm going to put forth are the MR slot car Jaguar, one of chosen livery by the winner. The slotted Ferrari 512. Oh, it was 512. Wasn't there a letter after that? I forgot to write it down.
M.
512M.
512M. Thank you. All right, and then the NSR F1.
I even remembered that.
which is also a good suggestion, an open wheeler from NSR, or maybe the Scale Auto one, which is pretty much the same. And we won't get into that.
The Scale Auto ones. Have the Scale Auto ones arrived already?
Have they?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I was just having fun. Yeah. So we'll think about those 3 suggestions, and then we'll take a vote on those later. And we'll also want you to roll around in your head what people should be doing to enter this, because I want them to watch as far to the end as possible before they enter the contest. So tabling that for now. And the floor is essentially open for any and all topics of any slot-related kind. Dennis, did you have something you wanted to talk about or ask about? Okay.
No, I'd forgotten to take my hand down.
All right, I'll take it down for you.
Thank you.
And then Kelly, what you got?
Okay. As you know, I am a straight out of the box racer kind of person. I don't build cars or any of that. So I bought these I'll do it this way.
Yeah, you might have to turn off your virtual background. The Scalextric, what do they call it?
Is it the Pro NASCAR?
Yeah.
Yes. There we go.
Yeah.
So my issue is the gears come in pieces.
Right.
Like 5 or 6 pink gears.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think what it is.
They're 3mm axles also.
Right. You have 5 different axles, but the actual gears and the bushings or whatever that the gears fit on, they're not attached.
Right.
They're not attached, but it's not like you snap them together. Or I've literally tried everything.
Get a hammer out.
Besides gluing them, I've tried everything to put them together, and every time I get them together and get it assembled, they come apart. So can somebody help me to explain, do I have to glue them or
You,
do
you don't you don't happen to have a picture, or somebody else have a picture of those
I
things?
don't remember what the gear was, but didn't it have? I thought it had a set screw. Didn't it come with it, the Pro Kit? Or am I
Yeah,
thinking
but the
SCX maybe?
set screw is just to set the aluminum centers on the axle.
Right.
Hold on,
And the plastic gear just has splines on it.
All right, let's see.
Let me focus.
You gotta, yeah, you gotta talk, Kelly.
Oh, let me take my background off.
There you go.
It's okay for us to see your curtains and stuff.
Well, you see part of my racing car track that's actually finally put together, but no scenery yet. So
yeah,
that's the gear. And then
I think that's straight up broke, dude.
No, this is how they came.
Yeah, it broke.
No, every box I have,
They broke in the box.
They come separate.
They broke in the box. They're not supposed to come like that.
No, it comes like that. I have some of that.
No, they.
Well, how do you do it then?
You glue it.
I think I think I use different parts. I didn't use those parts.
Yeah, it's not supposed to come like that. It's supposed to come in one piece. You are not as
now they give you like only maybe the two aluminum pieces or one, and then all the different plastic pieces, so they don't have to have all those aluminum made. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one aluminum piece, and then you could choose. Right? How many of the aluminum pieces did you get?
Different gear ratios.
It's different gear ratios, but
this is how they're supposed to come in the package. They are not supposed to come as multiple pieces.
No, I think they do.
The fact that they've come apart means that they are defective. Over time, they have fallen apart because
maybe they were glued at one
shrinkage,
point.
heat shrinkage and growth and various things that cause things to fall apart. That's you might as well, if you really want to use those gears, you might as well glue them, because they don't just go together some fancy way, is what I'm thinking.
Did they give you 5 aluminum pieces too?
I'm sorry.
Mine came apart, but you just press it together and it stays.
Yeah, no.
Not yours?
Evidently, I'm not pressing hard enough, because it only goes in so far. It only goes in so far.
Okay. Then what you do is put the gear down on a flat surface, take the aluminum piece, get a small hammer, and gently tap it into place, and they won't come out.
Okay.
Until later when you're driving it around the track.
In the race of your life.
Well, no, that was the issue. Not necessarily I was racing it, but just testing it to make sure I had everything hooked up correctly. And when I did put it on the track, spin, and then it comes loose.
Yeah, I'd get some JB Weld plastic bond and just a dab of that.
Yeah.
Center it.
Okay. I mean, because me and Greg talked a little bit about it, and he suggested gluing, and I'm like, that's fine, but I shouldn't have to glue it. I wouldn't think I would have to glue it. I think it should fit together somehow. But like I said, I don't put stuff apart together. I take it apart and put it back together already.
Let's just rewind a bit. There seems to be assumption by Kelly and some other people that this is how they come. No, this is just how they ended up in your possession. They came out of the factory as one piece. They are not intended to come apart. But because they're old, I mean, those are old, not old AF, but pretty darn old. They came apart in packaging because of temperature fluctuations. Aluminum is going to expand at a different rate than when presumably the ABS or nylon that those gears are made of. And through many years of being in some cold warehouse somewhere, they just fell apart. And, if you can force them together, glue them, to keep them together. Otherwise, toss them in the garbage, because that's what they are.
And if you're going to use 3mm axles, go get Revo slot gears or some other 3mm gears, and you won't have the issue.
There you go. So I mean, obviously, save money, put some glue on, force it together.
Right. No, I've bought some other gears already. I just haven't had time to try to see if they fit and put them on. But I figured, I'm at the pinnacle of information as far as building cars and from scratch. So why not ask the gurus, and maybe they can give me a suggestion or whatever.
What 3mm axle gears did you buy, Kelly?
I I'm trying.
There aren't that many out there.
Yeah. To be fair to Kelly, there are gear sets from various manufacturers that do come in multiple pieces, just not like that. Not like that.
And to your point, Greg, in fairness to Kelly, I've seen them apart too, and I honestly thought that they came like that. I've never used them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that gives you a path to a solution. If not,
no, it does. It does. No, like I said, I have enough cars where I can race. I mean, if I ever can get more than 2 people over at one time, I have enough cars where we can do 6. But I figured I have these kits. You know, I might as well, while I'm not doing anything, try to see if I can put one together.
Kelly, you can always go to New Jersey.
It's interesting, Kelly, that you're not a builder, but you bought a kit.
It's NASCAR.
It's a NASCAR.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a NASCAR, and it comes with 3 motors. And so, I mean, I was like, okay, well, let's get it. And
they're inexpensive, and you found out why.
Yeah. I figure out, like, let me see if I can put it together. I mean, if I can, I'll figure it out. I'll make it work somehow. But when I got to the gears, it was just, I was frustrated. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yep.
So I ordered some. I got them the other day, but I just haven't had a chance to try to see if they fit the axles or any of that. So
I went down and got my gears from the Scalextric. What's the line called? I forgot. It's like Pro or something.
Yeah. Pro.
Yeah. It's like the same thing on me. I don't know why they designed it that way. But they don't really slide in. So you have to press fit them. And if you're finding it hard, you don't need glue because press fit's going to be fine. You just maybe have to take an X-Acto knife and maybe just take a little bit out, and then try it. But they give you 5 gears with it. So
yeah, they do.
So I would take a razor knife and just go on the inside, like real simple, like a nice sharp one. Take a little bit out and then try pushing it in. I think it'll be fine. I have none of the sidewinder to put together, but it had no problem putting together the crown gears. So I don't know why they did it that way. And actually, there's more of the aluminum pieces than the plastic pieces.
Yeah, I mean, I got screws galore. I got a whole bunch of screws.
Some probably fell out of the box.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, in the old days, I know Dennis would remember this. Cox used to sell just the nylon gear that you'd have to put on a nut. Do you remember those, Dennis? Yeah. So that's.
I mean, at least that makes sense.
I tell you, it came with a lot of stuff. Like you said, 5 axles, 5 different spur gears, 5 different crown gears, a whole assortment size of pinions. Looks like silicone tires, extra guides, aluminum set screw wheels, and then real ball bearings, and then special screws, and 3 motors. I think, right? Did you get 3 motors?
Right. Yes.
You can't beat the deal, really. It's amazing what they give you, but it's the thing is it's not compatible with everything we use. You know, it's a larger diameter axle.
Well, maybe as Greg suggested, they just put everything in and we're playing the odds that one of those things would work.
No, it's good stuff. I think it's good.
Well, no, what they originally included in the box was all those components so that the people who were buying it, which, you know, they're Scalextric, they're targeting the toy, the home, basic introductory user, but they were basically trying to open the world of tuning up to those users. Right. So they included, you've got one chassis, but you got multiple motors with different RPMs, you've got different gears with different ratios, and you've got different axles so that you can, polish and tune or whatever you want to do with all those things. And you got a white body that you can paint and put your own livery on and stuff like that. But the gears were meant to be together as one piece, as shown in the picture that I showed, not in multiple pieces. It's just time has been unkind to those gears and they've fallen apart, and John's has even lost some of the gear pieces through the cracks in the box over time.
Well, me, I don't lose anything. I got
Yeah, you didn't lose it. They fell out of the box before you got it.
I don't think they fell apart because I don't think they fell apart. It doesn't matter though. Okay. We will agree to disagree on that.
But I'll bet you somewhere on the box it says some assembly required.
Oh, it's a kit, of course.
The whole thing is assembly required.
The instructions are horrible. So I mean,
yeah, this was a failed product.
What instructions?
I came into the hobby after those, and when I came in, and the guys and I saw those on the shelves, the guys in the club were like, no, they didn't even want to explain all of the mistakes that were made with those kits. They're like, buddy, if you want to buy one of those things, I'll let you buy it, but I'm not telling you to buy it. So, anywho, it's a good NASCAR body for Kelly to put on.
It's a good NASCAR body, and it's good motors and pinions. And if anybody wants to really try using those gears, you can send them to me, and I'll push them down to the 332s for you.
There you go. Send them to Dennis. He'll get them all fixed up for you.
It's easy. You just drill it out to, you bore it out to 1/8 and put a 1/8 by 332 reducer in it, and away you go. Easy.
I'll be
What
contacting
would you do, Dennis?
What would I do? I have a whole bunch of carefully machined brass reducers that are 1/8 on the outside and 332s on the inside. So I would take those gears, and I would put the gear in my lathe and bore out from the 3mm out to the 1/8. There, because that's not very much, so that will stay very concentric. And then I would use some good Loctite, and I would put one of those little reducers inside it, and then you could run that gear on 332 axle.
I see what you're saying. I got you. I've done that before.
Oh yeah,
not on a lathe.
You could do the same with the wheels too.
Yeah, I've done that before with monster tire trucks.
Yeah, you could do that with the wheels too.
Upcoming soon.
Yeah, that was one of the big complaints. That was one of the big complaints by the guys that I was racing with, because we were doing Skylectric, cars and flies and slottits and things like that. They're like, oh man, if they had just done the right kind of axle, these would be great.
If you think about it, you're getting a body and all of the stuff. It would be a great way to build a scratch built chassis underneath it. And
yep,
because there's a 20 and a 25 and a 30,000 RPM motor. I mean, that's on its own, that's like $40 already.
Yeah, and they come in different colors, which is always appeals to me. So I would take the orange one and put it in the General Lee or something like that, which would be good. I think the orange one's fast.
Yeah, I don't remember which way around they are now. But I mean, and you can. There's the NASCAR version. There's an Aston Martin, which is a Sidewinder GT3
That's the one
car.
I did. I did the Aston Martin.
And then there's a Lola Aston Martin, which is the inline LMP car.
Well, I sit corrected. The only electric pros I see on eBay right now are from Spain, and they're $105 with shipping.
But I'm looking on the Electric Dreams website and seeing all three of them in stock.
What are they selling them for there?
The Aston Martin's going for $69.95. The NASCARs are $79.95. There's an Audi R8 GT3 for $79. There's an Aston Martin LMP for $69.99.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what usable you're getting,
most of it,
and all the work you're going to have to do.
Greg's right though. The idea was exciting, but they didn't execute it right. And you know what? You may be right about the Lumina part coming out, because why would they give you 5 aluminum parts when they could have just given you 1? So
it was a thought.
I got to look at the instructions and see, but that's the way mine came. And I bought mine a while ago. I bought mine, when it was basically just coming out. So, but
I hear the instructions aren't so good.
Yeah, if it was the 332nds, it would have been great just to get some ball bearings too, because it has real ball bearings. I think 4.
Real ball bearings or real?
Yeah, but then they're 3mm ball bearings.
The 3mm ball bearings. The metal ones with the balls in it.
Yeah, I know what a ball bearing is. I'm just surprised it actually came with ball bearings as opposed to bushings.
Yeah, and then they slip into a plastic holder that clips into the mix that sort of clip in like we used to. So it's pretty cool. Let me say, I think there's 4 in here. There's 4. They spoiled you with stuff for sure,
I mean, I'm thinking that the cheapest way to go is what Frank was saying, and just get the Revo slot gears. Use that. Yeah, that'd be quick and easy. Right. Everything else, you'd be able to use everything else with the kit and just put the Revo slot gear on.
Nah, make these work. It's a good learning lesson.
Not only that, but careful.
You just press that in. You just need to maybe even put a book on it and lean on it to press it in.
Yeah, he's not gonna race. He's just gonna have fun.
And you're gonna make Kelly never want to build a kit again.
No.
Honestly,
I got it. I got it purely because it was a white kit and it had all the stuff, and I can paint it and put my own livery on it. That's the reason why I bought it.
Yeah, baby. What are you gonna make? What car are you gonna make?
I got a bunch of like not name cars. They're like rookie cards.
Okay.
Rookie cars numbers. Because I didn't want cars like everybody else.
You got I call them decals, right?
Yeah, decals. Yes.
Is that America? And then everyone else calls it. How do they say it?
Decals.
Decals. Yeah.
Decals. I call them decals too.
Decals.
Yeah.
I wasn't into NASCAR when we first started racing it, and I joined the club, so I made like Ricky Bobby's car, and then I made the Perrier car because they sell that Perrier, and so that was just my favorite car at that point. I didn't care if I won or lost.
Did you put the ad over the Did you put the ad over the windshield, Jeremy?
No, I got Pato's place, the kit they had, and painted it green. I don't remember what it had on the windshield.
Oh, okay.
And I would just do a terrible French accent the whole time, and it just became too annoying. So
they were really collectible and expensive. The Scalextric NASCAR one, really expensive, and one of the most popular one was Viagra, believe it or not. But they would go for like $100, $150, but then that dropped out like the fly cars and stuff. But they did make Dale Earnhardt Sr. Decals, nice ones from Slicks, SLIXX at 132 scale, if you can find those.
Good to know. All right, let me focus on there.
What's the name of the kit
sorry.
you guys are talking about?
There's the Perrier car. Ricky Bobby. You have to do that, and it just annoy people. And then that was the Ricky Bobby.
Very nice. Wonder Bread.
Yeah, not great, but
they look good to me.
Pato's always had decals. I don't really care about NASCAR, but that's when you don't really care about NASCAR, you got to make it fun for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's go ahead and decide what car we're going to have the Wiener Wien. And again, the choices were the MR slot car Jaguar, the Ferrari 512M from Slotted, or an NSR F1. And so let us take a vote. If you are in favor of the Mr. Slot Car Jag, raise your actual hand and I'll count those. All right, the Mr. Slot Car Jag wins.
That's easy.
That's a pretty overwhelming vote for the MR Slot Car Jag, so I'm just not even going to bother doing any of the other ones, since everybody seemed to have a pretty good feeling about the MR Slot Car Jag. So that is going to be the prize.
It's a very, very nice car.
I want to win one.
You should get them ASAP, though, because they're limited.
Right? I might just go ahead and place an order just to have one. But we will pull the actual winner next week. Now, the next question is, what do they put in the comments in order to win the prize? Anybody got any ideas? Guess I'll have to come up with one all by my little lonesome.
Scalextric Pro.
I like it. Scalextric Pro.
You are a Scalextric Pro, my friend.
And it has to be those two words together.
Yes.
No trickery with spreading them out. We need to know that you're talking about Scalextric Pro. What was that, Garth?
How about Mrs. Slot Car?
Mrs. Slot Car. Because of Mr. Slot Car?
Is it Mr. Slot Car or MR Slot Car?
MR. It's Mosetti Racing. Yeah, it's Mosetti Racing, so technically.
Oh, I always called it Mr. Slot Car.
Me too. I'm sure.
He didn't test that one beforehand, I assume.
I was going to say, did he do market testing for that? Ernie probably gets bugged by people calling it Mr. Slot Car.
Mr. Slot Car is cooler, I think.
Anyway, so we're going to do Scalextric Pro because I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's good.
So if you want to enter the contest to win
with a hyphen or no hyphen?
No hyphen.
No hyphen, just the Scalextric
All right.
Space Pro. So if you want to enter the contest to win an MR slot car, Mosetti Racing slot car, Jaguar, and hopefully you can choose the livery, but there might be very limited choice of available liveries.
Well, there are only 3.
There are only 3. So
Yeah, there's the green Unipart, and then there's the Castrol and the Silk Cut.
I mean, they're all fantastic looking cars.
Oh yeah.
So I might just call Alan up and say, what you got on hand, hold one of each of those for a week for me, and I'll just buy the other one because they are great looking cars. If you want to win that car, in the comments of this video below, not on Facebook, not on forums, in the video description on YouTube. So if you're watching this on Facebook or a forum, click the title of the video so that you go to YouTube, scroll down, look at the comments, put in your comment on YouTube. You can say anything you want, but it must contain the words Scalextric and Pro in that sequence with nothing in between other than a space, and you will be entered to win. Next week, we'll draw names randomly for all of those entered into this contest, and we'll find out who win. Sorry, Kyle and Neil, it's not going to be either of you guys. You can enter if you want to see your name hit the top of the list just for the disappointment of not winning after you've already won before. But we're going to try to spread the love around. And that's pretty much the end of that. We still got about half an hour. Anybody else? Kelly, what's up?
Have we figured out when the 100th episode, what date that's going to be?
I have not looked into my crystal ball to figure out what date that is. Does the date matter?
No, not really.
9 weeks.
Were we going to do something special for the 100th episode?
I was not planning a contest of any kind,
Yeah.
but we can do, some kind of special
We
subject.
should do something like a slot car full Monty or something like that.
I'm not sure I like that idea.
Got ya.
No, but
John M., you can do a full Monty if you want to, but I don't know if any of us will watch.
I'm open to suggestions.
It'll be full.
I'm open to suggestions for things to do for that episode, but I'm already spending the money that I'm earning, that I just earned. I doubt I'm going to get, that's 9 weeks. I doubt I'm going to get another check from Google by then, but you never know. It could happen. The more people that subscribe and watch videos all the way through and allow the ads to play and, like and all that stuff, share videos, the faster the money's going to come in and the faster I can do something like that. So
Now, you just said something that I didn't realize. The ads, if you skip the ad, when the skip ad comes up, there's no credit for it?
I don't know the specifics of their monetization. I'm sure if you see the first few seconds of the ad, then I'd probably get a smaller amount of the revenue that I would get if you watch the entire ad. But for sure, if you use ad blockers and things like that to make sure that you never see any ads, I'm not going to get a whole lot of revenue from that.
Gotcha.
I know if you mute, if somebody hits the mute button while they're watching, there's kind of in the background, you don't get credit for that. So what you can do is go up to the top of your browser tab and hit mute this site.
Mute the tab.
And then they don't know. So
Don't,
you get around
don't
it.
mute the video, mute the tab.
You're right.
Hey, use whatever you want to use. I use ad blockers myself. I'm not going to give anybody a hard time for not wanting to sit through ads. This is not, I'm giving these, I'm buying these cars and giving them away for fun because I'm doing this for the money. So, don't feel bad about not seeing the ads. Skip all the ads you want. That's fine by me. If you want to help and not see ads, then sharing the videos and telling your friends about them and subscribing and all that jazz. And I'm kind of surprised. I'm not disappointed. I'm just kind of surprised that my subscribership has not gone up a little bit more than it has. I mean, it's going up a lot slower than I figured it would, given such great content that you guys are sharing. But it is what it is. I'm not trying to play the algorithm or anything. So we'll have contests as they happen. But does anybody have any ideas for the 100th episode other than a contest?
Well, I was gonna say, I'm not gonna volunteer to do this, but you could do like a trivia night. You could look through past episodes. That way, you get people to go back and look at some past episodes, and say, I don't know what kind of trivia you'd do, but I'm sure somebody could figure out something.
I mean, if somebody is a trivia buff, too bad John is already gone. But if somebody is a trivia buff and wants to go through past episodes and come up with some questions, that would be fun. Not it. So willing to entertain that if anybody wants.
Jim Rose. I don't see Jim Rose today, but he.
I was going to say Jim's not on. I thought that's what Jeremy was going for. Maybe we could have Jim kind of do a compendium of his trivia questions.
There you go.
And the people who have been watching Jim's Tuesday night trivia on SoCal Slot Car Scene, or sorry, NorCal Slot Car Scene on Jim's channel would know the answers to a lot of them. But that still might be something fun to do. So maybe Jim will watch this later and say, sure, I'll do a trivia thing for the 100th episode of your show. Anyways, whatever. Think about it. Mike, you still got your hand up. Did you have something you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, actually, I'd like to know if there's any alternative motors than the flat six that fit the Lolas. These Lolas. So I tried to get a lower power motor using the Raptor, and the regular long can doesn't fit. It's too tall. So if anybody's got any idea for any flat six style motors that have a little bit less power, I'd like to know.
Which flat six motor have you got in there now, Mike?
The regular one.
The regular one, yeah, the original one that comes with it.
I was about to say there is a range of those, but the yellow green ones are the ones that the weakest ones. I think they're rated at 21.5.
Yeah.
What about gearing it down?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I thought about that, but now that I've got three of them that are all set up, and I thought, well, they've got a little bit too much power for running magless, and the power comes on really suddenly, so they're pretty hard to drive that way, and it's hard to compensate for it with the controller. So,
Not mistaken, the only manufacturer manufacturing in that motor can is Slotted. Is that correct?
Okay. What voltage are you running on?
I can't really run less than 12 volts with my power base.
Okay.
I'm using the 7042 APV. And if I take it below 12 volts, it doesn't like it at all.
Okay. I forgot that it's digital. That's all right.
Yeah, digital, but even in analog mode, you can't turn the power base down low enough to really draw a lot of power away from those cars.
Yeah.
Do those motors have any kind of name, like like FC 130 is a name? Is there anything for these? Like could you find something?
There probably is, but I don't know that any of us know it.
Yeah, but the flat six designation is the only one that Slotted use, and I think they are. You're right; they're the only ones that make the flat six motor. They're quite a bit less. They're quite a bit thinner than the other ones. If you look,
yeah,
you can see the difference there.
Yeah. I was just thinking somebody must make that motor. I don't think they're not making that in-house. So.
Yeah. So the trick would be finding out what the generic
designation is.
Yeah. And then call in China.
Well,
or Ali.
I haven't found any. So.
I mean, send an email to sales at Slotted and say, hey, what's the generic designation of these motors? I'm looking for something low RPM. Mauricio's a nice kid. If they're not planning on selling them, then he might say, yeah, this is what it's actually called. Obviously, if anybody out there in YouTube land knows what the generic designation of that is, put it in the comments and we'll make sure Mike gets that.
Okay.
Once we know the generic designation of that motor type, like Jeremy was saying, AliExpress or whatever, probably find it. Hopefully in lower RPMs, and maybe Mauricio will say, hey, yeah, it wouldn't hurt to have a lower RPM than that. But do they even?
It isn't so much the RPM as much as the torque. I mean, it's a pretty high torque motor.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, is that,
Yeah.
can you put it, will that thing stand a Sidewinder pod?
Not the Ellen.
I don't think so
No.
because the height of the FC 130 or something like that is too high. It's the rear end of the model. Here I've got the body off of this one.
Yeah.
The rear end of it you can see is very shallow.
low.
Yeah, they use that
Yeah,
motor
I had,
specifically because of that body style. That you just
I had something very similar on my on the Nissan R390s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I put Sidewinders in there. And I mean, I had a little slight interference motor, you know, a little bit of motor interference, okay, where I had to grind a little bit out, but it worked, changed the whole way that car felt, you know what I mean? So.
Mm-hmm.
So you put a Sidewinder under the slotted Nissan R390?
Yeah.
What kind of motor did you put under there?
A really freaking fast one.
So
Because he's using magnets.
So the FC 130
39K rush motor.
Okay. So
and it only interference was just a little tick. Okay, right? You know, in the back of the body, okay, where there was already an air scoop there, okay, where the body had two air scoops on it, and I had to grind a little bit of the back of the air scoop to make sure that it cleared. And other than that, it worked fine.
Well, these are those cars come as production models with a
But
Sidewinder.
you know, if you have an interference, you're screwed. You know, so.
Yeah,
there's the R390
close
comes
to
as an
2
inline, I
millimeters of
believe.
interference. There's a significant difference in between the two. Let me measure it real quick.
Yeah,
might
my
be able to
R390
get
is
away
inline,
with
but I'm not
putting-
sure that they all were.
Mike, you might be able to get away with putting a resistor in line in the car.
That was something else.
Oh, that's an idea. Okay.
I'm just trying to think about how much of a resistor it'll be. It's quite a low ohmage, I would expect.
Okay, that's an idea. I'll investigate that a little bit.
Yeah, because you're trying to drop you're trying to drop maybe half a volt or maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And those motors pull about, what do they pull? When they're accelerating, they pull maybe, let's say, half an amp. So if you've got a 1 ohm resistor in there, as you pull half an amp, you're going to be dropping the voltage by half a volt.
Okay.
So that might actually work for you.
That's an idea. I'll work on that.
Yeah, and you don't need terribly big ones. I mean, you probably find a whole bunch in your old Carrera cars.
That's a good idea, Don.
Well, the like on the motors?
Yeah.
Yeah, the I don't know.
Those are capacitors. Those are used.
No, not the ones that are in line.
These?
Okay.
I've got an Inco NC5 with a resistor on one terminal.
No, those are the capacitors. Those aren't going to change.
Those are capacitors. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The little green ones with the colored stripes around them.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
The little cylindrical things.
Yeah.
So really old.
I wonder if you're going to test
Highly
with
technical term that, yeah.
if you're going to test with ohms and a resistor. I wonder if you could just hook it into your controller for like where you're, or no, you have digital. Never mind.
I have
Yeah,
digital.
that's why I'm
All
saying
right.
it's got to be in the car.
Yeah, that's going to be a pain. All
Got to
right.
be in the car. It's not too much of a problem. You just desolder the wire right at the motor.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying
Put
you
the
you're
resistor
going
in
to have
line.
to do some math on that, like to figure out.
Yep.
Or there might be a calculator online for RPM.
You're still using with the tower, right? Not a computer? Or are you doing with?
No, I'm using with RCS 64.
Okay. And did you already try setting down the setting it to like, whatever 45 or whatever 55 for the throttle to do reduced power?
Actually I haven't.
Yeah. I mean, that's worth a try, but
Yeah.
it might not give you the.
Yeah, I just found this out yesterday. So it's like, oh crap.
Yeah, the problem is probably that you don't necessarily want to lose the top end. You want to lose the bottom end performance,
Right.
the low speed performance. So that the resistors will help with that.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're on neither one of your tracks are you ever really getting to top speed,
Right.
especially with non-mag.
Yeah.
So, anyways, more experimenting to do. So we look forward to the results on that. And Dewan has had his hand up. What's going on, Dewan? That sounded cool. What's going on, Dewan?
Very alliterative.
Yes.
You know, I'm into vintage,
Mhm.
so I'm looking to renovating some of these old Revell cars, in particular the decals on some of the old Revell cars. I don't know if you can like.
Yeah, the light's a little bright.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
Put your hand over it to shade it.
There it goes a little bit. But a lot of these.
Oh, the Mercedes. That's nice.
But some of the decals are faded and things like that. And I'm trying to get a whole series of the vintage ones because I'm similar to your IROC racing. I'm going to have all the vintage Revell cars as part of my as one of our trivial things. But I want to replace some of these decals after I clean the cars up a little bit. So I don't know if anybody makes these little paper decals like that. I figured someone probably did do this in the
Monogram made those, didn't they? Like the Monogram roundel, and it came on a sheet, and you could pick which number you wanted, and it made the roundel for you.
Have you checked eBay yet?
But the the Monogram ones were proper water slide decals. I think the ones that if the one wants to be really original, you need to have something printed on label paper almost.
That's why. That's
it's a stick-on number.
Yeah, and I was resorting to that, but I thought it might be something better and a little more durable than the traditional laser printed labels. But I do have that as my backup. But I was
there are vinyl self-stick vinyls available that you can print with a inkjet printer.
Okay, but none of the old you guys mentioned several decal facilities to get something like that. Those are all water slides and stick-on types.
Is John McKenzie still on, or is he gone?
I don't see him.
Iceman, because he's the guy for decals.
Yeah, he just signed off. He just signed off like 10 minutes ago. Going to dinner.
Hey, Juan?
Yes, sir.
You know, I have a local guy here that would print that on. He's got any good graphics place that makes signs and stuff. They're going to have what they call a digital printer, laser digital printer, and they could print that on vinyl, okay, and then cut it out, print it on a sheet for you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Pretty inexpensively too, actually.
Yeah. So I do want to kind of try to get to replicating, basically bringing everything back to like new. And the same thing is going on with I don't know if you can see the front grills. I need to replace the front grill of this Mercedes and the DB5, the Aston Martin DB5. I know I can find some of those on eBay, but just thought I figured I'd throw it out there, see if anybody in the group knew a source. Oh, I hit pin drops.
I mean, internet world, if you got some lead for Dewan, please post it in the comments of wherever you're seeing this video, and I'm sure somebody will see that and Dewan will see that eventually.
Can you remove some of those stickers?
Yes.
In a condition good enough to maybe scan them?
I could probably duplicate the font and probably get the size and everything. I just didn't know if it was going to be as durable as these weren't very durable anyway.
Oh, because I can make them much more durable because there's another way to do that, and that would be to if we got the right font and the right size, is you cut the roundel out of white vinyl, and you cut the numbers on a cutter like a Cameo or one of those vinyl cutters, and then you put the two on top of each other. What's Frank got there?
These are, I found them on eBay. They were for the Skelectrix old Triang cars.
Oh, they're from the Selectric. What's
Skelectrix Triang, and they're the paper decals. And I've used them on I redid the decals on a lot of my Triang cars, the old F1s and so forth.
Okay.
Does that look like?
I found those on eBay.
Is that an acceptable font, Duan?
It doesn't look like a match exactly, but I'm sure it'd be close.
Yeah, that's the size.
Yeah.
The numbers only go up to 24 though, but still, and there's 3 of each. But you get 2 sheets, so if you need 4, I just at the very bottom. What does it say here? I'd have to try and read it. Hop along. Never heard of it, but yeah,
Hop along.
That's what I use. Yeah, hop along. HOPALONG. I'll back through my purchases and see if I see where I got them.
Yeah,
So are these just stickers then? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
they really are.
What about like the Ultra Cal? They sell those vinyl stickers for 1/32. Did any of those work?
But the vinyl is going to be too thick to try to make the Revels look original.
Yeah, he's trying to restore it to look more original than just roundels on it.
These are actual paper with stick them on the back. Is what these are. So they're like the originals, at least for the Skelectrix Triang, and I think that's the same. I think I even used some of my Revels that I restored. My monogram.
Are the Revell stick rondelles numbers? Are they on paper, Dewan?
These are on paper.
Yes,
they're on paper.
But they're like glossy, right?
No.
So you could just use Avery labels.
Yes,
you know,
and I have that. I was gonna. That was my plan B. I was trying to find a better.
Yeah. Let me see the font. Let me see the what it looks like. The font.
Oops. Let me get the.
Yeah, it's hard.
There. That's probably a little better.
Okay. Yeah, maybe take some pictures and share them. And you know, I might be able to.
I'll be able to match the font up. I'll be able to get the exact font. And I used to have a desktop publishing company, so.
Okay, there you go.
I'm sure I'll be able to match.
Yeah, then maybe just an Avery label.
And then, Dewan, if you're trying to secure them, I've done decals on the Avery stick, and I just covered them with clear fingernail polish.
Yeah, or like a flat maybe.
Yeah, and then take them off and stick them on the car that way. And that way it secures the ink and the paint and everything.
Okay.
I can confirm that right now on eBay, I can find those electric vintage roundels. Not very much money.
I don't think I'm charging much for those.
Yeah, pretty different font style though.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the hard part is either finding them, you know, replicas, basically restoration replicas for the Revell cars.
Do they all have the same font?
They're exactly the same fonts. They're just different numbers.
Okay, because you only have to make it 0 to 9 to make whatever numbers you need, right? You can do that in Illustrator.
No,
but I mean 0 to 9, you could do any double digit.
Right, yeah.
You know.
This looks good. It looks really good, Frank.
That looks good, Frank.
Thank you.
Yeah,
this was really this car was really messed up. It had that junk on it, that white comes on these old Skelectrix cars. It's got some dish detergent out, scrubbed it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun to do. I like to do that too. I've made my own decals and basically on an inkjet printer, and you basically, you know, you have a problem. I don't have white ink color like what is it, Alpine? Is it Alpine or certain printer prints white, and that's what they use that's what like Patos uses. So, but I've had success, but you got to print a lot and there's a lot of trial and error, you know.
Well, it
No, you
helps
can also
print
get white back both for water slide and most of that other stuff. One of the things that he didn't mention is how are you going to make the circles? They have craft shops have different size punches for circles, usually like 1 inch, 1 1/4, or something like that. That might make it easier than trying to hand cut out a good looking circle.
Right.
Or a cricket cutter if you have one of those.
Yeah, I actually have. I'm sure I can get a die cut to once I get it sized up. I think I can work with that. Yeah.
Sounds like Dewan's going to be selling replica Revell roundel stickers.
Not selling. Not selling. I got quite a few people on ordered. These are the originals, and these are the ones that they actually. The models I have here are the same exact colors that they ran in the Batman show and everything. So I'm not getting rid of them.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I know you're going after that. That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It'll be a novelty. It'll be part of my novelty racing that I'll be coming up with. I have a lot of novelty races that I'm planning on instilling in many of the people to participate.
All right.
Novelty car races. That's cool. Yeah.
Looking forward to updates on that, Dewan.
And sooner than later.
It sounds like you're going to be taking the bulls by the horns and
yes,
just getting her done.
Getting the fast track going now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We got about 10 minutes left. Does anybody else have any topics they want to bring up? Jeremy, what you got?
Hey, I have a question for Dennis with Electric Dreams. Do you know if they're going to be getting those tires that Jim Rose was talking about, like the racer? I think they're some kind of
Scale Auto, the
AS20.
Yeah,
I would expect so, but I don't know yet. I haven't confirmed it.
Yeah, I believe Alan's the importer.
Alan is the importer.
Oh, okay. Well, Greg, do you know if Alan is going to get those?
Yeah, Jim posted his video on SCI, and Alan's response immediately was, "I'm putting an order together, and he's doing everything that he can to get them in the country, and I'm sure he'll distribute them to any shop that sells Scale Auto products." But I don't have a time. He didn't say.
I hope when he does order them that he orders a boatload of them.
Yeah.
Big demand.
He's I mean, if you are connected to a business that sells Scale Auto products and you want to make sure you have those tires, it couldn't hurt to have them call Alan to make sure that he knows that you're on board with a whole bunch of those tires. But I'm sure he's going to get as many as he can.
What country is Scale Auto in?
I think Spain. Yeah,
okay. And when are those F1s coming out from them? Does anyone have an idea?
Soon. I think they're on their way. I seem to remember having seen some already in Europe.
Yeah, I think Petrucci showed he had the Scale Auto one, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you want a Scale Auto one right away, you can always order from Top Slots or Pendles or something like that.
I looked up Pendles this week. They were still pre-ordering.
Well, somebody's getting them. But yeah. Supply chain issues and all that jazz, we're waiting. We'll get them when we get them.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff doesn't go to Spain and then to here. It comes direct here from China.
Yeah, it's on the boat, and then it's going to wait in
Gonna wait for you guys up there in Seattle.
Yeah, well,
unpack it all.
Or it might even go into the bay. I don't know.
It might even come down here, in which case we will.
You'll let it sit there for a while.
Highway robbery, stopping the truck. Got it it's going to Seattle. Go get it.
I had one
Painter's
thing.
short tires.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
One thing for John M. earlier, he was talking about he liked the Ninco or where you slip on to the spade terminals. Can't you just buy those like 2 millimeter female spade terminals? Because I bought the 3 millimeter ones that go underneath Scale Electric track to wire it together. But I think if you just like look on AliExpress for like 2 millimeter spade.
Yeah.
If you don't like
parts
soldering.
I like, Ninco changes up a lot, So I try and have a little store of parts, but some parts I can't get anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a standard crimp-on spade
That's
connector kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a
matter
female
of-
spade clip is what it's called.
Yeah, just a matter of getting the right size for whatever you want to shove it onto.
Yeah.
Good suggestion. Well, it looks like we're winding down, so we're going to go casual. As always, if you're not attending a live show, please come. It's a lot of fun. And but you know, if you're just watching, that's cool too. Until next time, we will wave goodbye. And don't forget to enter the contest again in the description. A comment that includes the words Scalextric and Pro sequentially with only a space in between, and you will be entered to win the MR slot car Jaguar. I think that's all. Until next time.
What's the cutoff for your to enter?
Let's say next week's show is going to be the 11 a.m. So we'll say 10 a.m. next Wednesday, basically an hour before next week's show. I'm going to turn off commenting on the video and make sure I've got all of the people who've commented appropriately on my list of people. And then during the show at some point, we'll do the random draw. Thank you. Great question, Dewan. Anybody else? Before I forget? All right, that's the end of it. I'm going to hit stop and everybody wave bye, and we'll keep chatting. Bye.